Hey everyone, so today's video we're going to be talking about Aristle, which is one of the newer light epics that they added to the game, a couple months ago. I think this hero is pretty strong. I don't think he's amazing, but he is a pretty decent niche pick. In some RTA settings, I don't know if he's very good anywhere else, but I do want to talk about him because he has a unique trait that is only found one other place in the game, so I figured we'd talk about him. So, his trait says when a team member takes fatal damage for the first time, it allows them to resist death and heals them for 50% of their max health, and that's up to one time per battle. So this is very similar to Shane's trait whenever he is A5, which is very, very strong. Now, he doesn't have the other benefits that Shane has on his trait, like damage output, but the fact that this trait can save somebody from being sniped by, say, like a Divine Yolanda or a Fire Melisa, I think is pretty relevant in the meta. It also counts for himself. So, like, if they try and snipe him, he will also heal himself up. He does have an Awakened ability when he's Ascended 2, which whenever his trait triggers, he immediately launches a counterattack with his ultimate ability. Now, his ultimate ability is also kind of unique because it offers this debuff called Power Suppression. So I actually don't think this is very good, but the second part of his ultimate, the crit rate down 2, I think is relevant. So the Awakened ability is kind of nice. It makes him definitely more usable whenever he's awakened, like most heroes. But this Power Suppression, there's an issue with this, and the issue is that this counts as a control ability. This is a problem because it will trigger Karma, and that is not good because Karma will get 2 bonus turns and counterattack, and it's not good against Karma. So keep that in mind. The other thing is it says attacks are guaranteed to be deflected, but then it has a very crucial thing in the parentheses saying except the primary target. That means any single target attacks, this has basically zero effect on them, and that's bad. But if you're going up against an AoE attacking hero, this can be pretty nice because everything is going to be deflected other than the person that they click on. So when he's awakened, he immediately launches this ultimate ability and then puts up Power Suppression. Then, if you loop back around to his turn and you use his ultimate again, then he's going to apply that crit rate down 2 on people that have the Power Suppression. So that is what makes the ability strong, because most people build their heroes, at the very minimum crit rate. Some overcompensate, but still 50% is a really big debuff. So that's kind of cool. The rest of his abilities are fairly nice. He has a special ability that applies 2 stacks of block to everybody. This is probably his best ability, and then grants defense up to a primary target. So he's going to really help your tanks survive, for a couple turns by putting up these blocks. Defense up 2 is nice, for people like Royce, people like Atara, people like Nero, your usual suspects. So this is a pretty solid special ability, and whenever he's booked, he does go down to a 3-turn cooldown. And his basic ability removes a positive effect on an enemy. This is kind of nice. There's a lot of invincibility running around, things of that nature. So I think being able to remove something on a basic is pretty good. He does have some very good masteries, so he has the auras, to help the rest of your team get increased attack or defense. His abilities somewhat matter. This Power Suppression being up for 3 turns is nice. Reducing the cooldown of this to 3 turns is cool. The damage is irrelevant, but at least the auras and then the first 2 abilities, the second and the third ability are pretty relevant, and then he also gets speed. This is also pretty nice because ideally, whenever he's level 70, he'll go up to 114 base speed, and then he can get to 15 speed from his masteries, and then his A3 gives him plus 15 speed. So if you get 3 copies, he can probably be close to, a 310 speed hero, which is good because you need him around that. You want him to activate his trait and then immediately go after. So he has to be pretty quick so he can put up that crit rate down too, to kind of mess, with your hero's turns. So the gear I have him in is just straight speed. He's not booked, anything like that. He's got 268 speed, which is pretty slow, but I just put him in enough gear for me to show you how he interacts with some of those heroes that I was talking about. So let's just jump into Arena here real quick. So a team like this is where you are going to want to use him. Divine Yolanda, usually can snipe most Neros, most Ataras. Some of them, some Bocchis can be sniped, some Rosalais, things like that. So what we'll do is we'll bring in, Aristle to try and save these heroes from this. He'll put up the power suppression, and then he'll put up the crit rate down too. So here, they're going after the Atara. So we're gonna just try and kill this Vengeful Hassle, and then the Divine Yolanda is probably gonna try and kill the Atara, and there you go. So what ended up happening there was he got his ultimate off. Sadly, he didn't survive. The Vengeful Hassle came in and killed him, but he did put up power suppression. So that means, any of the AoE abilities from Vengeful Hassle, they're going to deflect. Now, we're not going to get to that point, I don't think, because I believe Nero is going to kill everybody, or at least most of them. And we'll get the rest of his team down. Sadly, he did revive his Vengeful Hassle, so this is probably going to be a loss, because he's just going to reborn the whole team. And then we'll just we'll move on to the next one, because the Divine Yolanda is going to end up killing her. Yep, so that's a loss, but that's what I was saying. He's more of a counter pick in RTA, against Divine Yolandas or Fire Melizas, help one of the heroes that they're trying to snipe. Something can also be said for, this Oderic teams. One of the keys to beating Oderic is someone like Cordelia. Cordelia is also very good against almost everybody. But if you're playing against someone in RTA and they pick the Oderic, they might let the Cordelia through, but they're going to 100% target the Cordelia as soon as the match starts, so she can't morph him. She is a little buggy, so she might morph him immediately. Okay, so she doesn't, so that's good. So here, we're going to put up the power suppression. This is pretty good against heroes like Doomweaver Valeria. And this was a nice interaction, actually. We were able to power suppression, or ultimate, and then have the Oderic counter him and trigger his trait, and then that put up the crit rate down 2 on people. So this is probably going to help us survive against the Doomweaver Valeria and the Light Nick. So you saw the deflects there. There's just a bunch of deflects from this power suppression, which is really nice. And here, what we'll do is we'll be able to go in and morph. All of these deflects here are really cool against the Doomweaver, and then just finish out the rest of this team. So there you go. That's kind of his interaction, saving people that are going to be sniped. This isn't a great showcase just because I don't have RTA available, but I hope you get the picture. He's in there to let that one person survive, and then his job is done. Now, it worked against the rest of those heroes. Okay, so something to mention here that is definitely a letdown is this guy against Alicia. So the way that the turn order works, he's actually not able to save or activate his ultimate ability before Alicia triggers her second attack. So you'll see here, whenever we go in, Alicia is going to target the Cordelia, and the very first attack is actually going to kill the Cordelia, but his ultimate will proc. Or at least his trait will proc, not his ultimate. And then the Alicia is going to do her second attack on the Cord, kill her, and then he'll activate his ultimate ability. This is an issue because if it worked the way that you would hope, the Alicia goes in, attempts to kill her, and then his ultimate procs. The SSA will then get an extra turn, and then the Cordelia would end up morphing him, but it does not work that way. The unhealable screws the whole thing up anyway as well, but you'll see here. So goes after the Cord. See, there's the death immunity, but his ult didn't proc until afterwards. So that's a rough interaction here. He does enough damage, and the Adeline changes form, and then the Alicia just finishes her off. Just goes to show how strong Alicia is. But yeah, I do want to show that interaction. So he is limited, as I mentioned at the beginning, but he's purely there for his trait, save the sniper, put up a block or two, something like that, and then hopefully the rest of your team ends up taking out, those pesky fire Malises or whatever. I'd like to try and find one here, but it doesn't seem like anybody's running them. So anyway, short video. Just wanted to bring this to you, on the interim. I'm really excited about this balance patch coming up, and just trying to get you some content on the in-betweens. So I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.